Hello, everybody. I hope everyone is back. With this, we come to the last session of the February event from Agile Network India. We will be, we have a session from Noida chapter, a panel discussion on the topic changing needs of learning in the digitization era. So we have Vishal Garg, Sheetal Malhotra, Roma Jain, and Aparna Kaur. Before we start the session, let me thanks Innovation Roots, a founding sponsor. Innovation Roots is a leading consulting and training service provider, helping organizations to achieve business agility and beyond. It is one of the leaders and pioneers of niche publishing services, well known for content collaboration with global thought leaders, authors, and creators. For more information, request you to visit www.innovationroots.com website. Do's and don'ts. Guys, please join 5 minutes before the start time. Use high quality speakers and headphones for better sound quality. Please keep your microphones muted and video disabled, as this may cause disturbance and bandwidth issue. Questions will be taken via chat box. Please enter your questions in the chat box. At the end of the session, the facilitator or moderator will help and read out the questions to the speaker as per the time available. Please fill in the feedback form after the event that will help us to understand more about the event management and the future topic which you would be interested to hear from us. We appreciate your cooperation. Thank you. So with this, I invite Vishal Garg to introduce himself and he who is going to moderate this particular session. Over to you, Vishal.
Thank you, Prashant. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, Vishal.
Okay.
You're audible.
Okay. Thanks for confirming. All right. So welcome everyone to today's session in Noida chapter, last session of the February event of 2022. I'd like to thank Agile Network India for giving us this opportunity to share our thoughts, on this very important topic today. Thanks to all the panelists and audience for being here on a Sunday evening. Uh, Let me now take this opportunity to introduce myself and our energetic panelists today. So my name is Vishal Garg. I have over 17 years of experience in the IT industry. I have worked in project delivery for a long time, and I have interacted with clients globally. Currently, I'm working with the 3-Pillar Global Noida as a senior manager product development. I am an Agile certified practitioner, and I love to help our teams, to practice Agile in the most smoothest manner. In my current role, I'm helping communities to grow and being collaborative, and I'm also helping individuals to elevate their craft and become a better version of themselves. I'm also a volunteer for Agile Network India for Noida chapter. For today's discussion, we have highly talented panelists from various organizations. So let's welcome our first panelist, Roma. Roma, if you can introduce yourself.
Thank you, Vishal. Hi, my name is Roma Jain, as Vishal said. So I have over 24 years of experience in software industry throughout. I have been working as developer, engineering manager, program manager. I have been working as a release governance leader in Genpact, and these days handling projects from various regions using AI/ML. I believe in transforming teams to adopt agile through frictionless innovation, like whatever they easily can adapt and do as a continuous improvement. I have written patents on the data-driven framework to monitor progress of the projects, written articles on requirement process, how to adopt story point practices by the team. I have also acted as a volunteer to teach students and associated couple of NGOs and associated with Agile Network India. Thank you. Thanks for taking our session and joining us over here today.
All right. Thank you, Roma, for introducing yourself. Next panelist for today's session is Sheetal Malhotra. Sheetal, if you can introduce yourself.
Sure. Thanks, Roma. That was really powerful. I think your portfolio is really amazing. So here am I. My name is Sheetal Balhotra. I am currently associated with Three Pillar Global as a senior learning and development manager. My role here is very exciting. It is to set up the learning and development function at the organization. The organization never had a structured learning and development department. So my role here is to set it up, write the strategy, write the vision of where the team should head, as per the business objectives and as per the growth of the organization. Before joining Three Pillar, I have worked with two more IT organizations. I started my career with HCL Technologies, spent 9 years there. Actually learned, the craft of, creating content and doing training delivery inside the classroom. At that time, everything used to be face to face, and I was only comfortable delivering learning interventions within a classroom. So I did that pretty much there with HCL. Then I moved to NIIT, where my job was to understand the entire learning and development cycle, right from understanding the need to curating learning programs to measuring impact and wrapping it up with calculating ROI. I am a big advocate of the fact that one can be really vulnerable and without capturing the fear of being judged. You can really be vulnerable, but create your own learning path, create your own strategy of continuous improvement, and just go for it. Just don't be bothered about what others will think about me. That's what I really believe in. And thank you, Agile India, for this wonderful opportunity. Really looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you, Sheetal, for that great introduction. Our third panelist for the day is Aparna. Aparna, if you can introduce yourself.
Sure. Thanks, Vishal. And Sheetal, that's a tough act to follow, but I'll speak a little bit about myself. My name is Aparna Kaul, and right now I head the talent development or learning and development for Soprasteria India. Soprasteria India is a European IT services company with about 5,500 people in India and more than 47,000 people across the globe. I am a technocrat by qualification. I did my BTech in computer science, and I am an HR professional by choice. I recently completed my post graduation in HR domain. I've worked in EDI domain when I was a part of the other world, which is the technical world. And right now, I am the flag bearer of all learning initiatives, a little bit around HR generalist affairs. I lead the leadership development and organizational development for Soprasteria India, and I am also part of specific projects around recruitment and retention, which is the hottest topic these days with the great resignation and the talent churn that is happening. I am also a part of the part of HR which one has to do but nobody really wants to do, which are HR policies development and legal compliance. And I am passionate about technology, and I am a proponent of using it to solve HR related challenges. So that's about me. Back to you, Vishal.
All right, thank you, Aparna, for that awesome introduction. So we have all our panelists, who are experts in their fields and are passionate to talk about today's topic, which is changing needs of learning in the digitization era. Sorry. So before hearing the valuable thoughts from our panelists on this topic, let's understand what basically digitization is. This is very important before we dive in to our topic today. So digitization basically refers to creating a digital representation of physical objects or attributes. So, for example, if we scan something, a paper document, and we save it in as a digital document, for example, PDF or Word, that means this is a digitization, right? So digitization is all about converting something into from non-digital into a digital representation or artifact, basically. So what digitization brings is the efficiency, the ease of access, and operational excellence as well. Once we digitize something, it becomes easy to store, retrieve, use, and share as well. Now, since we are living in this digitization era where mostly information, if not all, is available online, right? In the current era of rapid changes in the business and technology environment, the method and relevance of learning are undergoing major changes too. Both professionals and businesses have recognized that academic knowledge that we gained years ago would not be adequate to succeed in this digital world. New skills are required to be acquired on an ongoing basis. This has resulted in organizations planning training and talent development programs for their employees, and significant efforts and investments are being committed as a result of this process. Now, looking at the current learning programs that have been designed by many organizations, many of these programs actually do not incorporate the appropriate level of digital content that is required that will allow organizations to upskill and remain competitive in the future. So all of these organizations, they all are looking for upskilling program, but some of them are still lacking on, some of the competitive edge that they can have over other companies. The companies need to keep pace with the rapid and continuous technological advancement impacting all facets of their businesses, including their approach to learning. This raises a very important question about how organizations can tackle the development of these skilled workers' need for this digitization era. The challenges of equipping the workforce with appropriate skills at the right time are not new. Now, in this era of unprecedented changes, effective reskilling and retraining has become more and more critical to the successful delivery of strategy. Yet many organizations' learning and development practices have not changed significantly over like past few years, or if we can say over a decade. And this demands a rethinking of learning practices, requiring a system that is much more flexible and which reinforces a culture of continuous learning. Now, we have seen in past couple of years, during the pandemic time, the blessing in disguise for us is that we have received many online mediums at our disposal, and most of the employers and employees have moved rapidly towards online learning. Most of the organizations are still working on how they can balance an employer driven learning versus employee driven learning. Now, on that note, let me open the floor for our panelists today and hear their thoughts on this topic. So my first question of the session goes to Roma you. So if you can help us understand how digitization is affecting the learning needs for the future. Your thoughts on on this part.
Yeah, thanks, Vishal. Thanks, Vishal. You already talked a lot, like, about the future needs and how the learning is, transforming to the new ways. See, learning and development had always been a crucial pillar of the future of the work, right? And it requires new operating models based on now collective intelligence. As you said, employees and employers, and many more people out there. So when I say collective intelligence, organizations are in dire need to overall how they learn, how their people learn, and how everybody collectively learn and adapt, right? So traditionally, learning happened through batching of the people, right? So we used to have a batch of people and they will learn. However, continuous upskilling and learning is the need of the day. Now, that's not sufficient. If you bring them into the batch, it has to be, continuous learning. Even in the, schools, like children of today have been surrounded by digital technology. However, all of them are not equally equipped for their technology rich future, right? There are various kind of digital divides which are still there based on like what is the location, where they are located, which country they are in. So students struggle to keep up with the recent developments, right? Schools are having very hard time to keep up with the recent developments. They are still like in the what is the old curriculum and old ways of teaching. So they don't have too much into the digital technology. They lack resources and skill, and we need to empower our younger generation, right? So before COVID, I would say, as you rightly said, digitization adaptability was quite low. Post COVID, it has accelerated many folds. There has been a massive disruption in learning I would say that especially in India, I mean, we didn't have too much going on in the field of digitization in India. So learning has been brought close to students, close to the trainees, close to the employees, and now physical boundaries have become meaningless. So I mean, I can learn from anywhere. I can learn from anywhere. So digitization brought many venues for personalized education as well, right? So thereby strengthening the individual development of the students, of the trainees. Earlier content was generalized. Now contextualized content with more practical examples is the need of the hour. With digitization, teaching is not limited to only traditional teachers. Rather, community network built by SMEs is becoming very popular. Whosoever has knowledge, even of a subtopic, they can share through social media, right? Based on likes and millions of views, we pick from where we want to learn and what I want to learn, right? Whether it suits my needs. So my time is more utilized now, right? So but there are certain downsides also. When you are in the classroom mode, you have undivided attention of everyone, right? When I hear my kid, like, okay, he'll say, oh no, I have not taken that class because I'm taking it from a better teacher, right? Or I'll record it, I'll listen to it later on, right? So those kind of things are coming out there. So digitization can help poorly performing students as well, because now they can easily repeat the content which we were not able to do when we were learning from a teacher, right? In a classroom session, if I'm not focused, then maybe I lost the content, right? But it can also harm, as there are a lot of distractions, right? I go to YouTube learning about something, then I go to maybe some other shows or something else, and I lose my track. 2 hours content become 2 days content for me, or sometimes 2 weeks content for me to complete, right? So there are a lot of distractions. So, and another point is, like, for future, it's very important that our learning, the content need constant change. Information gets outdated very quickly. So but nonetheless, digitization has brought massive disruptions, as I said, in learning for many domains, it rather all domains, including IT, medical, everywhere. So let's hear, like, how can we best utilize digitization for our learning? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Roma. And I think you have rightly said that it has definitely removed the boundaries. For many years we were doing the digitization, but it was at a very slow pace. It was going. But I think for last 2 years or so, when we are part of this pandemic, I think this has grown multifold, and this is like something we can call it as a blessing in disguise for us. Okay, let's see if other panelists have something to add to your thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, Vishal,
Yeah.
if I could add something, because Roma was just talking about students and schools. So I got reminded of this incident where I was talking to my 15-year-old niece, and I just happened to ask her, and this was 15, 20 days ago. I asked her, when are you going back to school full time? And her response was, school full time is so 2019. We are in 2022. And this is somebody, a kid who has done full time school for uh, I mean, 12, 13 years. It's just been the last 2 years that she's been doing classes from home, and she's doing her singing classes from home. And then even when the schools have opened, they're being called maybe twice a week. I think that is how humans behave. They change so rapidly, and if you can't change the context, if you can't cater to the needs of this changed behavior, uh, then as a brand, as an entity, it will not long before we become irrelevant. So I think, for learning needs of the future, I think learning professionals not only have to play catch up, they have to be one step ahead, because they have to provide to people the moment their behavior sees a change, and provide it personalized, in context, and just in time. So I think learning needs of the future would be to understand human behavior and what they are getting hooked to, and provide that in a digital, personalized, hybrid, virtual variety and bouquet of ways, and let people pick what suits them the most. So I think it's going to be a marketplace of learning resources, just like Amazons and Flipkarts of the world, and people come and pick and choose. So I think that's my take on it.
Very well said, Aparna. Thank you for bringing that aspect as well. And I think the world has become smaller with things going online. So we can get like most of the things, as I said, in our laptop. So we can learn anything, any kind of course that we want to learn. We can do it online. For an individual, it has become like a pretty good thing. They don't have to go anywhere. They can just learn things sitting in their bedroom maybe. uh, this is good for individual, but then there is another question, and I would like to bring Sheetal in for that question. So Sheetal, when this is great for an individual, to have this digitization era, why organization should care about learning needs in the digitization era? If you can like show some focus on that.
So just like, and it's a very, very valid question, just like Aparna and Roma brought the flavor into the discussion that, it's a marketplace of learning resources these days. So the digital transformation of learning has actually, augmented organizations' ability to evolve. Organizations have to really think on just-in-time learning. Those traditional ways of making people learn and acquire new skills may not be relevant in this context. Learning is becoming more measurable. It is more goal oriented, leading to an outcome. These are, more of skill based learning is happening at almost all the organizations. And work paradigm is also shifting. We are not in a face to face environment these days. We are not in the physical office. We are all virtual. We are all working from home. So how we keep up the pace as per the changing reality of work, how we make learning more self-paced, anytime, anywhere, just like you mentioned, Vishal. If the organization can give the ability, empower learners to learn even while they are in their living room, while they are on their way to a holiday, is something which is in these days, and something which is needed and asked by the learners, and it definitely creates impact. uh, Question about whether the learning interventions will be impactful if we are doing them in a virtual setting is no more a valid question. If I may talk about how we do it in three pillar, how we manage learning. Our learning is definitely self-paced, anytime, anywhere. Along with that, we add a flavor of do it yourself. There is a marketplace of learning resources available in the market. Okay, the organization will give you a toolkit, but in case you want to go beyond, you go and explore what learning tool suits you the best. So it's not only delivery of the learning. It's actually, and these days, what is happening with digitalization of learning or digitization of learning, it's actually a fundamental mindset change. It is pushing the organization to not just keep learning as mandate. In case you want to go to the next level, you are supposed to complete these mandatory programs, to rather bring in skill based learning, bring in learning which has a direct impact with the growth of organization, as well as growth of the individuals. And it's an evolving process. It really makes me think of a very, very basic example. When we started this, when this COVID came in, and suddenly all of us started to work from home, the organization never thought that they will introduce something called a DocuSign. Okay, it already always existed in the industry, but it was not being used so often, and maybe by all the organizations. So organization brought in this concept of DocuSign. All the organizations started onboarding team members, new team members, virtually. I have few team members in my team who I hired maybe 1.5 years back, and never had the opportunity to have spent FaceTime or face to face time with them. So, evolving the onboarding process, getting the documentation signed through DocuSign, onboarding team members virtually, making them learn the culture of the organization, all of it by virtual means is something which actually became a reality. It again. I was reading some research by Dixon on one of the online websites. It says if you offer your employees the chance to work where they need to be rather than where they are told to be, their view about the organization completely changes, and they are better productive. They create better impact. They actually, this particular thought actually make them transition to a founder mindset. So similarly, we if I may apply the same principle to what we do here in my current organization, when we design learning intervention, we make sure that we ask this fundamental question, that if can we somehow find an intersection between what you want your employees to learn and what they would like to learn. If there is an intersection, for example, I see my future projects in if I may use the technical example from an IT industry. If I see my example, if I see my career moving forward in maybe JavaScript or Angular, and the organization also is seeing a huge pipeline of clients asking for Angular. If we are able to find out those resources, who would like to learn Angular, and there is a pipeline of potential opportunities waiting in the pipeline where Angular is needed. If we are able to find out those employees, those team members, and then put them into the learning program, of course, the outcomes will be definitely way stronger than not selecting the right kind of people for the learning program. Again, these days, initially when I joined the learning and development function, I was always being told that the buy-in of the business, the buy-in of the delivery team is always very, very important. But I felt over the period of time we evolved, and learners buy-in and learners impact and learners experience also became very, very important. um, again, the learning and development teams are innovating really hard. We are a lot of organizations are coming up with informal ways of learning, lunch and learn over coffee, chai pe charcha, something like that. Those kind of sessions are happening. So to summarize, just in time learning, evolving from mandate to finding the intersection, and maybe realizing and keeping in mind that virtual programs can be actually equally effective is something which is my take on this question.
Thank you, Sheetal. You have touched upon on many aspects of the topic that we are talking about. I think you have rightly said that growth mindset is something that most of the organizations are moving to, and all the individuals and the organizations, they know that if an individual is growing, then probably an organization will also grow at the same point of time.
Yeah.
So while the most of the organizations are looking for to grow their employees to find out their learning needs, my next question to you, Aparna, would be what some of the potential risks that you see if organizations are not planning to go for these learning needs in future, if they are not adjusting to these needs of the employees.
Hmm. Okay. Thanks, Vishal, for that question. I think the risks are huge and many. And honestly, these risks are what my nightmares are made of, especially days before my reviews. But I guess some of the potential risks that I could probably spell out here are very direct ones. We could lose productivity, engagement. We could lose upskilled workforce, which is like it is like losing a kidney these days. Brand of the organization, and even the trust of our customers, because if we can't deliver, then we lose that trust. So basically, in a nutshell, the risks are that businesses stand a risk of becoming irrelevant because the environment around them is so completely changed. And if they don't adapt, if they don't change to the needs of the market, then they could perish. For example, I belong to an organization where collaboration, brainstorming, in person meetings, work from office has always been a ground principle, and in the past 2.5 years we've been working completely remote. So to begin with, there was no choice, and then we saw that it's working. So I think not only these direct business risks, there are also other risks as well, which are more on the humanitarian level. There are health and wellness risks as well. So not only do people have to learn to upskill and stay ahead of the curve without the social and peer learning, they also have to learn to strive in isolation, because as humans we are people who thrive on collaboration, and we have to learn to thrive in isolation. And if we don't, then we have, you know a lot of wellness risks as well. So, and while working in isolation, we have to keep the collective alive as well, because at the end of the day, I represent Soprast Area, which is an organization, which is a brand. So I think this is a bigger risk, I feel, and I think people have to learn to take care of themselves mentally, physically, in a different way than they have been doing, for their entire lives, and what they were used to. So I think if we don't change, if we don't adapt, if we don't learn, not only do we stand to lose business, we also probably stand to lose sanity, which is the biggest loss of all. So probably in a nutshell, these are some of the risks that I could highlight and share.
Yeah, thanks, Aparna. And these were really like well drafted risks that you mentioned over here. In fact, like most, if not all, organizations would be like worried about these risks when they think
Yes.
about their learning and development needs for the future, right? And see, employees today are very smart. They can easily look for the organizations who are providing them the those learning and development needs. Those can fulfill their wellness needs, and they can easily hack to those organizations, right? So that is also like one of the biggest risks that the organizations have. So, Roma, if you can let us know, like these are the risks that Aparna mentioned, but what are the ways through which we can, address these risks? So, obviously, like we can go for the learning and development program, but how exactly can we address these risks so that we are not, we don't have to go for to regret at a later point of time as an organization?
Yeah, thanks, Vishal, for asking. I'm like, laughing. The problems are more or less same. When Sheetal said, chai pe charcha. So, and solutions are also like everyone is trying to, figure out how to overcome those risks. Even in Genpact, we have, chai pe charcha. But it was more popular last year, right? Because people were okay. They were dying to see each other on the video. Now we are getting used to without seeing each other. We are okay. We just want to hear each other's voice, but we have invented, I think, for overcome such of some of those risks, like as Aparna said, working from office is really needed, right? So we used to come up with some innovative ideas when we used to talk to each other. So in Genpact we have invented water cooler thing, right? So it's a bot which will take two people and just schedule their meeting based on the calendar. Of course, initially it used to plan my meeting at 6 a.m. also, right? With even though I said, okay, I work from maybe some other timings, it will plan a meeting. But that was a good step, right? So it was like you come across some person and you talk to them informally. Because now meetings are becoming more and more formal. Last year, yes, it was like that we had chai pe charcha or maybe some games or gamifications. But now we are so overloaded, we don't even want to do that. So but it is losing our innovation mindset, right? Our growth mindset, which we used to discuss and come up with the idea. So there are a couple of things which we can do to address these risks. So instead of curriculum based, we could have a roles and individual based learning, like as Sheetal said that it should be based on individuals. So that's very much required these days. And earlier what used to happen, our learning was once in a year or twice in a year. We used to have set days to do a batching program, right? Now we are focusing and emphasizing more on continuous learning, right? Learning, even earlier we used to say, okay, learn from a teacher. A person used to just prepare for that topic and come up. Now the learning has shifted to gurus. I mean, person who is a subject matter expert, they are the ones who would go and solve your answers when you are learning, right? So getting in touch will
Mm,
help speed up the things, right? So another thing which I highlighted earlier also, instead of static content, if it can be more adaptive or constantly evolving content, and that would be really helpful. So those are certain things which I can think about that can we can overcome those risks. Yeah.
right.
Okay. Thanks, Roman. When you were talking about these initiatives which your company, your organization is following, and before that, Sheetal also mentioned that they are following Chai Pe Charcha kind of initiative. So my next question is basically, I thought that why don't we learn from each other, right? Why don't we have like these initiatives from each organization so that we can learn from each other's experience? So if you all can, and I will start with you, Roma, because you were, talking about this, so you can continue on the same. So what basically the digital training and learning practices is your organization following? So if you can, like, if you all can take that question, so we can definitely have something, that we as well as our audience can learn from your experiences and your organization.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Vishal. See, Genpact is a big organization. We are, 90,000 plus employees in the organization.
Mm,
And there are, we learn and train in in multiple ways. And top three ways which I can think about, one thing which we have invented is the focused waves, right? So last year was focused on cloud learning. So different channels, be it teams, be it newsletters or communication, news, LinkedIn, everywhere we used to see like, okay, the cloud programs being, so we will say, okay, either you learn Google Cloud or Azure Cloud or AWS, like organizations, collaborated with these people, and we had a lot of training programs going like that. We also had a 1.5 years program for the women leadership, right? So bring them to the next level. We have AIML. Sheetal mentioned some of those things, but in our organization, we have brown bag series. So we have run it for a year. So where we focused on agile and safe training. So we will do Jira adoption, story point adoption. So it will be all like working culture of the team, right? So something like that. And another way is we have an in-house training platform. We call it Genome. So that is based on crowdsourcing, because as I said, it's a big organization. So learning is required in different domains. It's required technical trainings, we require soft skill trainings, we need design thinking, so many things. So we have curriculum which is already there, set. And we also do, like, people read the content and then they choose like, okay, when can they join Guru Connect, right? So different subject matter experts, they come and join as gurus. So we have multiple gurus in each of the journey. So they come and come online, and basically people can ask them questions. So I myself is a guru in the agile journey. So I train, like, beginners, proficient, intermediate, or expert. Like as safe, I train safe. So that's the second way. Third way is where we say, okay, go take certifications which are paid, unpaid, from the external sources. It could be some MOOC, massive open online courses are there. So we ask them that, okay, you go attend those, and then we basically give them credit. We have even tied the learning to now their promotions also. Not a very good thing, but yes, we have done that because we wanted to bring people into a continuous learning culture, right? There are 1 to 3 minutes video which we ask people to produce, and then they can, on the walk or maybe anywhere, they can learn about it, they can learn about the domain. But they are very short videos which we use. Some are panel discussions, we just ask the question and person replies. So not big videos. So these are couple of things which we do in Genpact to ensure that people are trained, cross trained, T-shape, their skills are T-shaped, so they understand depth in their own area, but they understand the width of the complete organization. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Roma, for like sharing all those initiatives of your organization. Aparna, would you also like to share like the
Yes,
initiatives that you have done?
yes, yes, yes. So very quickly, I think much of it Roma has already covered. But what I can very quickly say that in Soprast area we are really moving towards blended, and like Sheetal said, what the organization wants and what the individual wants. So all our leadership and management development programs are blended. We have tied up with digital learning providers like Harappa and NASCOM Future Skills, and there are learning journeys that are hosted there or on our internal platform, which is Cornerstone on Demand, and these are supplemented by mentors and live virtual sessions that we do over Microsoft Teams. Other than that, we have a gamified soft skills learning platform. It is called Co-op Academy, with lots of quizzes, small 5-minute videos, battles, challenges to create engagement and also bite-sized learning. And the third thing that we've gone ahead and did, though we always had this certification that you can go and do it, but this year what we did was we gave a 25,000 credit to every employee in the organization, and it was a part of their salary letters. And throughout 2022, they can go ahead and do any industry certification without any service bond or without any, service agreement till 25,000 per head. And beyond 25,000, of course, there are some conditions like a manager approval and probably a service bond of 6 to 8 months. So we've tried to do is kept some organization needs in mind, that we want our all our managers to have these competencies, and we've also given some leeway to people to pick and do what they want to. Apart from that, we also have an enterprise partnership with Pluralsight, which is our basically technical content provider, because we realize that with so much technical content available, so Pluralsight, Microsoft Learn, Udemy, etc., there's no point creating content all over again. So we've integrated Pluralsight into our LMS. So these are few things that we are doing, and I think as a learning and development professional, I keep looking out for more things that we can introduce. So we do leader talks, we've recently started tech talks, so anything that can augment and supplement the learner experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thanks, Aparna, for like bringing that out and sharing these all initiatives. I'll pass it on to Sheetal. If you can quickly, Sheetal, share the practices that are being followed in Triple Global.
I really hate to be the last to be speaking on this question, because these two beautiful ladies, they covered it all. So we are also following similar ways, and right, Roma, I would connect with you to understand more about Guru Connect. I really found that very catchy, and I think that would be very, very interesting. So I would like to maybe quickly talk about three things. Three pillar being an IT company, we do massive upskilling, and our upskilling is again, as I spoke about in the beginning, it's do it yourself, it's self paced, but you get the guidance from a subject matter expert. You get a guidance from internal trainer mentor. We have a very structured mentor program, which gives people an opportunity to get mentored and to be a mentor. If somebody feels that that person has become expert in a particular skill, expert in a particular technology, you can enroll yourself as a mentor. Of course, there is a screening process that the person goes through, and after that you can start coaching and start mentoring people. And 90% of learning interventions that we have at Three Pillar, they are all being curated by internal experts and delivered by internal experts as well. In the end, if there are some kind of assessments to be done, those assessments are to be again created within the organization, and final assessments are also being done in within the organization in
Mhm.
house. So we realized that our internal trainers, internal experts were doing way too much. And trust me, when I joined the organization in 2019, I was always going back to the management and asking them, our internal trainers are doing so much. Can we do something for them? And every time, I used to go back, and I used to come back by listening to this answer that budgets are tight and we can't provide anything special to people. People do it, according to people do it as per their own will. They, because they would like to do it, they do it. So I was always unhappy. But ever since this pandemic started, the organization could save so much on travel. The organization was not thinking about where the participants are. Everybody was virtual. They just have to send a Google link, and everybody, all the learners are in a virtual classroom, and you can do a learning intervention. So we could save a lot of money. So I created a business case. We selected a partner, and I don't want to name the partner, but internally we call that program a kudos program. We created a kudos program which is based on point system. So if Vishal, for example, is delivering a program, Vishal gets, and it's a 2 hours program, Vishal gets 80 points. If Roma is delivering a program or curating content, for curating content of 2 hours program, she gets 20 points. For delivering again, she gets 80 points. And there is a very structured, very fancy leaderboard which goes to all
Mhm.
the entire pool of speakers and trainers and mentors. They could see their name, they could see, and again, those points gets converted into money. It became a global program. The leaderboard started to reflect, if Roma is based out of Romania, Roma has 20,000 RON in her account. Go ahead and buy a learning resource. And we were very specific. We said that we don't want people to buy a pressure cooker from the points they earn in kudos. We really want them to invest that money in their development. Again, just like Aparna said, we do not believe in the fact that you could be able to hold on to resources if you ask them to sign a bond. We are giving you an
Mhm.
opportunity to a 1 lakh rupees certification, but you have to sign a bond. You can't hold on to, there are
Mhm.
organizations who will buy the notice period, who will buy the certification amount. So we don't ask people to sign a bond, but with kudos, we are giving them an opportunity to see their name on a leaderboard, convert the points they earn by participating in these learning interventions, and then in the end, go ahead and buy a learning resource, go ahead and buy a certification program, go ahead and buy a chance to be at a different location, and deliver some learning programs. We have that kind of a reward as well. Only two people get that reward in the end of the year because it's very pricey. But this program created such great vibe. It increased engagement. It
Yeah.
brought the attrition numbers a bit down. The motivation level went up, and I think we are doing fantastic with kudos.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Sheetal, for sharing that initiative with all of us and all the audience. I know you guys are very passionate for this topic, and you really want to learn this, throughout day and night. But unfortunately, we don't have time to continue further with this session. But thank you so much for all the inputs, all the thoughts that you guys have brought in today. I think audience would definitely I have gained a lot, and I'm sure the audience might have been on the same page with us. Um, so thank you so much for your sharing all these inputs, Sheetal, Roma, and Aparna. We will be going to some of the questions that we have got from audience.
Mhm.
We are left with 3 or 4 minutes, so if you can be really quick to answer those. You can choose like who wants to answer the questions. I'll go like one by one. So first question is from Amar Prasti. Question is how to tackle the massive attrition. So is there something that we can do through this continuous learning to tackle the massive attrition?
Maybe I can answer that question very quickly, Vishal. So Amar, we've spent almost 1.5 years trying to decode this, कि how to tackle attrition. And trust me, we failed miserably. There is no key. Because there will always be a player, a company in the market who will pay more or who will in some way prove a better fitment. So I think what we finally decided when we failed miserably was that rather than tackling and stopping attrition, rather than staying, please don't go, we changed our focus on retention. We started saying, okay, what more can we do to make you stay? Rather than hiring people from the market at 2x 3x of salary, we've started doing a very extensive benchmarking exercise with Mercer to see where we are on the salary grids and which is the group of people who we need to give a kicker to bring them at par with the industry. I hope all technical people will realize that nobody changes a job for a 1 lakh 2 lakh or 3 lakh rupee difference, especially in a virtual environment when getting adjusted to a new environment environment anyways is very difficult. So if we can minimize that gap, we can have people stay. So there is also a famous quote that says whatever you focus on amplifies. So when we were focusing on stopping attrition, attrition was increasing. So now that we are focusing on retention, retention is increasing. And we've seen some results. Our annual attrition has gone down by 6-7% in the past 3-4 months, because I think with the change in context, the mindset also has to change, and you have to focus on a different area. Rather than stopping attrition, you have to build on retention. That's what's worked for us, Amar, and that's what I can share on this topic. But a very relevant and a burning question, if I may say so.
Thank you, Aparna. And I think we'll take one more question in last 1 minute. So this is in this remote setup of work. This is from Prashant. In this remote setup of work, what new skills leaders expect team to upskill?
I can take it up. So I think the main core crux skill is the continuous learning.
Yeah.
See, if you can make your people adapt to that, everybody will benefit from it. Be it the current organization, be it the current employee. So we need to inculcate that culture of continuous learning in our team, and that's what we should be focusing on as organizations. Yeah.
And just, if I may quickly in 30 seconds add
Sure.
something, apart from what Roma you said, stay agile. Keep in mind that whatever you decided in the beginning of the year, that will change. Business is changing. We are into a rapidly changing world. So don't feel bad that, what I decided so much, I created a big strategy and now you're asking me to change everything. Just stay agile, take it easy, and we'll sail through well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
change is the only constant. Even COVID variants are changing so rapidly.
Yeah,
So I
Yeah.
think the virus itself is proving that.
true that, true that. All right, thank you so much, ladies, Sheetal, Roma, and Aparna, for all these, insights, all these thoughtful inputs that you have provided today. We are right on time. In case if you anyone from audience have any further questions, you can reach out to these individuals on their LinkedIn channels, and you can ask your query, get your resolution over there. Thank you so much once again to everyone who joined this session and to our uh, energetic panelists today.
Thank you,
Thank
All right.
you.
Vishal. Thanks
Thank
for
you, Vishal.
moderating the session and keeping us within time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm happy
Difficult
to
to
do
keep
so.
us. We can keep
Yes,
talking, but you kept us on time. Thank you, Vishal. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And thank you, Prashant and
thank you.
ANI for giving us the opportunity to
Absolutely.
share
yes.
our
Absolutely.
Thank
thoughts.
you.
Yeah. Over to you,
Thank,
Prashant.
Thank you, Roma, Aparna. I think I
thank
got to
you.
learn a lot, and I'll be definitely connecting offline with you guys. And thanks, Prashant, for this
Perfect.
fantastic opportunity.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for this insightful discussion. I could see, you can see the comments. A good, everyone has enjoyed your discussion. So hope to see more such discussions in future. I would like to thank all the panelists as well as Vishal for moderating. It's such a fantastic moderating. And next month we will be having 26th and 27th March. So I encourage everyone to join the future sessions. We'll come up with more such more such interesting sessions ahead. So it was a fantastic 2 days with a lot of learnings. Hope to connect you all. Once again, thanks everybody on behalf of the Agile Network India community, and hope to see same type of more energetic contribution towards the community. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. I can't say have a nice weekend, but yes, we had a
Nice
good
weekend.
time.
Nice weekend.
Thank you. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye,
Yeah,
everyone.
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
See you. Bye bye.